On Sunday in the live, I broke down why are you or what are you avoiding and why are we avoiding is what we're going to be discussing today. Different signs that so that you could pay attention to why you're avoiding your grief. Why are you trying to get away from your grief? Avoiding doesn't always look like avoidance. Avoidance doesn't always look like it. Avoidance isn't just about running away or hiding under the covers. It's more complicated than that. And that's why I want to get into it. It's that quiet voice that you keep repeating in your mind over and over again. Not today. Not today. I'm not doing it today. I can't do it today. It's the part of you that keeps you too busy, too tired, too numb to feel. On Sunday, I went live on TikTok and I recorded What Are You Avoiding? And that's a podcast that I'm recording that's going to come out this Friday. It really breaks down what are you avoiding? Today I'm going to talk about signs so you can find out if you're actually an avoider. Are you an avoider from your grief? It's the quiet voice that you keep saying, not today. It's the part of you that keeps you too busy, too tired, too numb to feel. Most people don't even realize they're doing it. Most people don't even realize that they are avoiding their grief because it starts to feel normal to them. It feels like this is the way it should be. It feels like this is the way to process the grief. A lot of you are calling it coping, but it's not coping. And many of you, if you're anything like me, you call it being strong. I got to be strong for her. I got to be strong for Erica. I have to be strong for the kids. Or you call it keeping it all together. I got to keep it all together. They're looking at me. I'm the one that has to keep it all together. But here's the truth. Avoiding is grief's favorite hiding spot. Did you hear me? Grief hides under the avoidance. It loves to go in there and lurk in the little corners. It hides under the avoidance because it knows it won't be seen there. It knows you won't come looking for it there because you're using the tricks to stay away from this thing. It convinces you that what you're managing and the way you're managing is really the way that you're staying stuck and you're in survival mode. It convinces you of that. It convinces you that you're just stuck, that you're doing this grief wrong. You're just in survival mode. You just got to get through the holidays. You just got to get to the new year. The new year, the new you, the new life, stepping into the new normal. What new did you add on to it? It has convinced you that where you are is where you're supposed to be. Avoidance doesn't mean you're weak. It means your heart is trying to protect you by way of your brain. Your brain is the one that's sending out the ideas. Your brain is sending out the ideas to your heart. And your heart's like, I can't feel this today. I can't do this today. Avoidance doesn't mean you're weak, my friends. The problem is the protection and the healing aren't the same thing. Protection and healing are not the same thing. Protection, healing. They're on two different pages. It's like 6, 7, 6, 7, like the kids are saying, right? They're not on the same page. And it's just like that 6, 7 where we couldn't figure it out. The problem is protection and healing aren't on the same page. Here's my question for you. Where have you been telling yourself you're fine? Where have you been telling yourself that you're fine when your heart knows damn good and well you're not? Where are you telling yourself you can do this? Are you telling yourself just to hold on till after the holidays and you'll be fine? Are you really saying that? When you start to pull away from people in life, you're avoiding. I meet so many beautiful grieving women who tell me they're lonely, who haven't left the house in months, days, weeks, because they don't go into anything, because nothing feels right. They start pulling back. After loss, the world starts to feel unsafe. Your world feels unsafe. Every person, every place, every song, every smell has the power to rip open the wound right there. So you're like, well, forget this. I'm not doing that. Even going in, you're sitting in the event and you're like, don't they know my dad just died? Don't they know my dad just died? Do they know my dad just died? Do they know I can't do this? Every smell has the power to rip open the wound. So you do what feels safe. You stop going. You stop going because I'm not doing that. Every time I go over there, I start to feel worse. So you start avoiding that. You start skipping family dinners because you don't want to be around her. You let the calls go to voicemail because you just don't have the energy. I don't have the energy to answer it today. So I let her call on Monday, on Wednesday, on Friday. It all went to voicemail. You cancel plans. You cancel them at the last minute, or you just don't show up at all. Staying home feels so much easier than risking a reminder that might rip your heart open. You tell yourself it's just temporary. I know by next year I'll feel better and I'll be able to do this. But weeks pass, and those weeks turn into months. And those months turn into years of isolation that absolutely at some point start to feel normal for you. But here's the truth, my friends. Avoiding life doesn't stop the pain. It doesn't, because wherever you go, there you are. And wherever you are, you have your broken heart with you. It just keeps you from love. It keeps you from connection. It keeps you from things that can help you propel you forward in this healing time. Who or what have you been avoiding because you're afraid it will hurt too much? What are you avoiding? Are you not going past the hospital? Are you not hanging out with your family? Have you canceled the holidays? When I'm fine, when we tell people I'm fine, because that's your favorite lie. I'm fine. Hey girl, how you doing? I haven't seen you in 4 months. I haven't seen you since Bob died. How are you doing? I think about you all the time. Oh, I'm fine. Feelings inside never expressed. FINE. It is the biggest lie we tell people. We tell them that because we don't know what else to say. I'm fine rolls off of our tongue before we even get a chance to think about it. It's your go-to answer. It's your go-to answer at work. It's your go-to answer at the grocery store. Even with the people you love, even the people that are laying in the bed next to you, you tell them you're fine because you don't want them to feel this pain. You don't want them to know this pain. But here's the thing. They see it on your face every single time they look at you. You say it because it's easier than explaining the storm inside your body. You say that because it's easier than explaining the storm. You don't want to see the pities in their eyes, so you lie. You don't want their advice. You don't want what they're telling you, that this too will pass, to just give it time. You don't want that. And maybe deep down, you don't want to hear the sound of your own pain out loud, and that's why you're not crying. Maybe it sounds like too much. Maybe if you start crying, you feel like you're never going to stop. So you tuck it away. You tuck it away and pretend that you handled it. But saying I'm fine doesn't make it true. It is a lie. And it teaches everyone around you to stop asking you. They eventually stop asking you because you've told them you're fine. You told them you're okay. You showed up at the barbecue. You helped with the cleanup. And on the outside, you looked okay. You 100% did the avoiding thing and you look okay to them. And so they expect you to be okay. When the whole time inside, you're not telling the truth. You're absolutely dying. Why? Why are you doing that? Why are you prolonging the grief? Why are you allowing the grief to go longer? When was the last time you gave someone the honest answer about how you're doing? When was the last time you told them the truth? I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can do this. This hurts too bad. I don't know if I can do it. Was it last week? Was it last month? Was it 6 months ago? Was it the day he died? Is it never? Have you never told anyone the truth? One of the other ways we know that we're avoiding is a sign of procrastination. procrastinating for doing things when you keep putting things off. Avoidance loves to dress up as I'm not ready. You tell yourself you'll deal with it tomorrow. I'm not ready. I can't deal with this. You'll clean out the closet next weekend. I can't go in there. I'm not going to deal with his clothes. Now hear me out. Grievers have choices. Grievers have choices. Not cleaning out the closet is a choice, and I am absolutely okay with it. If you are going to leave this God's green earth with those clothes intact in the closet, you have my blessing. I'm okay with it. If you just don't want to do it, please do not do anything. Do not feel forced to do anything. But if you know it's time to get rid of the clothes and you've decided to get rid of the clothes, but you just keep putting it off because you're avoiding things, you go through the picture. When it hurts a little less, you'll go through the box of pictures, but time keeps passing. You know you have to move out of the house. You still have those clothes to go through and all those pictures, and you haven't touched them because it's too painful. When time passes and nothing feels easier, you start to avoid. The boxes stay in the garage. You don't deal with them. The voicemails, they stay saved. The emails, they stay unanswered. The thank you cards that you needed to send for the funeral service, they stay there. The decision you've been avoiding keeps waiting for you, gathering the emotional dust. Now, I want to tell you this about the cards. I personally feel you have 1 year to send those out. 1 year. And by all means, pick and choose who you're going to send them to. The ones that really showed up for you. Grievers have choices. Sending out the thank you cards after the funeral is a choice. Not sending out thank you cards is a choice. Sending out a thank you card to everyone is a choice. I don't have a say on it. I just want to help you. And I believe you have 1 year to send those out. The decision you've been avoiding keeps waiting for you, and it's gathering emotional dust. And that dust is getting heavy. And that dust is what's causing the exhaustion. There's a difference between giving yourself time and refusing to face what really feels painful inside. I'm going to say that again. There is a difference between giving yourself some time and refusing to face what is real and painful inside of you. Avoidance keeps you circling around the same pain over and over again, hoping that it will show up different tomorrow. But it's not. Grief doesn't fade. It waits for you to hit it head on, right in the middle of it, and for you to face it. What are you putting off because it feels too heavy to face? What is that thing that you're putting off? One of the other things we do to avoid is that we stay busy and we avoid stillness, because within the stillness is the grief. Grievers are world-class multitaskers. We do everything. Oh my God, you guys should see my list today. I'm no kidding. I made a list of the things that I needed to do, but on the back, I made a list of the things I had already gotten done in that day. And it was as many things as I needed to do. Grievers are world-class multitaskers. We fill every minute with something. We fill it with work. We fill it with errands. We fill it with helping others. We volunteer. We clean. We clean out that dang drawer, that junk drawer that no one's been in for 20 years. Now is a good time to clean that. Anything that keeps your mind occupied. You tell yourself that being busy keeps you from falling apart. And for a while, that absolutely works. But then one quiet night, you're sitting at home alone, and it all catches up to you. And the tears come like a waterfall. Because they were just sitting under the avoidance, my love. And grievers tell me all the time, I got to keep busy. I got to keep busy. I got to keep busy. Because they know damn good and well when they slow down for 1 second, that grief is going to catch up to them. You can't outrun it. Stop. Stop trying to outrun it because you can't. The distraction you're doing is just a temporary fix. I promise you it's a temporary fix. Eventually, you're going to have to slow down enough. Today, tomorrow, 10 days from now, 10 weeks from now, 10 years from now, you're going to have to deal with this grief. You're going to have to deal with the brokenness in your heart. Healing requires stillness. You got to slow down. You got to listen to what's here. You have to listen to what's here. You got to get them both on the same page. It requires space, but stillness can feel terrifying when you're in pain. When you have been avoiding for weeks, days, and months, and you finally have a chance to slow down and you have a chance to speak, nothing comes out. Nothing comes out. You got to slow it down so you can hear. You can hear the stillness of here. What are you using to stay busy? So you don't have to be alone with your thoughts. What are you using? Are you using wine? Are you using food? Are you drinking? Are you eating? What are you doing to stay away from it? Speaking of that, let's get into it. One of the other ways that we avoid is by numbing out. We numb out instead of feeling. Some people avoid by shutting down. They shut down completely. They take it all out. They go in that bed, they pull the covers over their head, they put on I Love Lucy, and they don't come out of the room for 5 days. How many drinks did you pour last night? How many scrolls until your eyes blurred out? How much scrolling are you doing? Are you seeing the girl that's telling you to stop scrolling, but yet you keep scrolling? Are you eating everything in sight? Or are you controlling and bypassing the eating? How much shopping are you doing? How much binge watching are you doing? What are you doing to take the edge off? Because we know those edges are jagged. Numbing out doesn't always look destructive. It looks normal. And it's quite accepted by society. But what it's doing is it's separating you from the grief. So here's the grief and here's you. It is separating you from the grief. And the grief is just going to stay right under there. The whole time you're doing your techniques, it's staying there. You're still functioning. That's the thing about numbing out. You're still functioning. You're just not really living. The problem with numbing is that it doesn't just block the pain. It blocks the peace. It blocks the love. It blocks the joy. And it blocks the connection to others. The more you numb, the smaller your world becomes. The more you numb, the smaller your world becomes. What do you reach for when you don't want to feel? What is the thing you're reaching for when you don't want to feel? When you're using substances to escape, so we talked about numbing out, but what about illegal or legal substances? Let's be honest. Grief hurts like hell. You will do almost anything to make it stop. And for many people, it means getting something to take the edge off. I got to have this drink to fall asleep. I got to have this pill to get through the day. And I'm telling you, it absolutely works. It does work. But it only works for a short while. And you need another pill. You need another drink. You need another gummy. Eventually, your body starts to build up tolerance. And you need more and more and more to feel less and less and less. Meanwhile, the grief you've been avoiding grows heavier. It grows heavier in the background. You can't heal what you refuse to feel. You cannot heal what you refuse to feel. Substances can dull the pain, but they also dull your ability to connect. They dull your ability to connect, to love, to rebuild. What's the cost of numbing yourself instead of healing yourself? What is it costing you to numb out? Hey, girls, look, I'm on a Facebook group where there's a lot of women in there. They're drug seeking. They're looking for Ativan. They're looking for anything they can get. We have a lot of moms groups. I'm not personally in one of the moms groups, but Erica is. And they're constantly on there. Where do I go next? Where do I go next? It's easy to numb out here in America. Trust me. I want to talk about when avoidance feels like control. Avoidance gives you the illusion that you're in control of the grief. You have convinced yourself that you don't need to look at the pain. Because if you look at the pain, it will control you. But the opposite is true. The more you avoid, the more power grief has. The more you avoid, the more power the grief has. You are giving your grief away. You're giving your grief the power. You are giving your grief the power. I'm telling you this. Hear me when I say this. I'm not just making this up. You are putting grief in control. You become a prisoner to the very feeling you're trying to escape because it absolutely has the control. Because every time it doesn't want you to do something, it will come up. The hardest truth about healing is this: you can't overthink grief. You can't outrun grief. You can't overthink it. You can't outrun it. You got to move through it. And facing it doesn't mean you're going to drown in it. It means you finally learn how to swim in it. What would it look like if you stopped managing the pain and started healing? Today in the live, I broke down all the classes that we have at the grief school. What if you came to the grief school? What if you came to Grief Study Hall at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time on Tuesday? What if you came into Grief Study Hall where I could sit with you and help you with the grief? What if you came into Grief Study Hall and you and I talked about the grief? What if you talked to me about an area that you're struggling in and I gave you some pretty damn good advice? What if on November 8th you came to the masterclass on creating a holiday care plan? What is your holiday care plan? How do you plan on getting through this holiday? What if that's where you showed up with me in the masterclass where I give you step-by-step instructions on how to create your holiday care plan? What happens when your avoidance becomes a habit? When it is your new normal? After a while, avoidance becomes automatic. You don't even realize you're doing it. That's why I'm pointing this out. If you go to the podcast on Friday, I'm talking about what avoidance is. Now I'm pointing out how we do it. After a while, avoidance becomes automatic. You don't even realize you're doing it. It's in the way that you change the subject when someone mentions your person. It's in the way that you don't say your person's name. You hold that tight to your chest. That was me after Sharon died. I kind of felt like they were going to try to steal my grieving experience with her, or they wanted to put themselves in the same place with me and compare. So I just didn't even want to talk about it at all. The ways you change the subject when somebody mentions your person, in the ways you hold your breath when you walk past your favorite store, the way you scroll instead of crying. The minute you feel like crying, you start scrolling. Those moments seem small, but when I tell you they're avoidance and it's teaching you how to stay away from it, and your body and your flesh are staying away from those emotions, it has tools to do that. The longer you practice avoiding the pain, the more your nervous system learns that these feelings are dangerous. You're teaching the body that these feelings are dangerous and that it has to avoid this danger. Healing starts when you begin retraining your body to see the emotion as safe again. See the emotion as normal, as a normal and natural reaction to the loss. Where do you notice yourself shutting down instead of leaning in? Where are you noticing it? Let's talk about, I'm going to say that question again. Where are you noticing yourself shutting down instead of leaning in? Grief sucks. You lean into the suck. You don't avoid the suck. You lean into the suck. We think that avoidance protects us from the pain. When avoiding protects the pain instead of you, it starts to protect the pain. It doesn't care about you. Because your brain is telling it to keep avoiding. This feels good. Keep avoiding. It tells it to do that. I'm telling you, my friends, this is good stuff. This is really good stuff. You tell yourself you're guarding your heart, but what you're really doing is guarding the pain, because what's inside of the heart is the grief pain. You build walls around it so nobody can touch it, not even you. You build this beautiful wall. You want to hold on to this pain because it's the only thing that he left you. But you're foregoing the love. What he left you was his love. What he left you was his memories, but you're leaving all that aside because this feels better. It's the reminder because it's something I can still feel. You might even think you're protecting the love for your person, but what you're really doing is protecting the grief. And the grief is protecting the pain. And it traps you. And the love is just loss. It doesn't even come up. Love doesn't live in avoidance. It lives in the truth. It lives in courage. It lives in the willingness to feel every piece of what their absence brings. That's the truth, my friends. How has avoidance kept you from honoring their love in a healthy way? Do you honor your person on their birthday? Are you honoring them on this holiday season? Are you able to do some of the holiday celebration? Or are you not able to do it at all because you've been avoiding it for too long? It's one of the things we're going to be talking about in the holiday care plan on November 8th. We're going to be talking about how to create the plan that you need to survive this holiday without avoiding. I'm going to put some rest time in there. I'll help you guys with that. When avoiding keeps you from connection, connection is the medicine for grief. Connection is the medicine that you need for grief, but you avoid it because you think you're allergic to it. You stop sharing. You stop reaching out. You stop believing anyone will ever understand how bad you feel. You might even start resenting people for moving on, for expecting you to move on. The irony is that the connection that you pushed away is the very thing that you need to help you breathe again, but you keep pushing that away. Healing happens in safe spaces when you tell the truth about your pain. Avoiding keeps you alone. And it keeps convincing you that you are doing right by staying in this solitude. It's safer here. It's warm here. Just stay here. We don't need connection. I always believe grief was done in community. There's a certain part of it that needs to be done in community. I'm telling you, friends, I know what I'm talking about. I didn't just fall off the turnip truck. I know what I'm talking about. So what do you do when you finally notice the pattern? Avoiding is hard to see until you slow down long enough to look. Some of you don't even believe you're avoiding. Or some of you didn't even know you were avoiding. Once you notice it, you start to recognize. You start to recognize all the ways you've been protecting the pain. You see how often you said, I can't deal with that right now. I'll deal with it tomorrow. I'm sorry, I can't go. You see how many times you've been skipping going to events because they might hurt. You see the grief hiding underneath your daily routine. Awareness doesn't fix this overnight, but it gives you choices, and the choices that grievers have. And one of the choices is to start healing. One of the choices is to step into this grief. You cannot keep avoiding and think that it's just going to show up. The healing is just going to show up of its own accord and heal your broken heart just like that. That ain't happening. It ain't. It didn't happen for me. It didn't happen for her. It didn't happen for her. And it ain't going to happen for you either. What truth are you finally ready to face today? One little truth, just one truth. Just acknowledge something about your grief today. What is that one thing you're willing to acknowledge? Are you willing to acknowledge that you're absolutely grieving? Are you willing to acknowledge that you're absolutely in pain? Friends, grievers have choices. Grievers have choices. And to stop avoiding is a choice. Healing starts the day you stop running. It doesn't mean that pain disappears. It means you finally acknowledge, I'm a griever. I'm a griever. It means you give space for that grieving breath to come through your soul. You start letting yourself cry without apologizing in front of anyone or apologizing to yourself or your family. You talk about your person without censoring their name or censoring the stories or censoring your feelings or censoring your emotions. You sit with the memories instead of shoving them down. You share them openly with your kids. You face the hard places that once felt impossible. Avoidance feels safe. I know that. But healing feels even freer once you go down in there. It's like walking into a dark cave. I know when you walk in the dark cave, you're going to be scared shitless. But what's going to happen when you walk in? It's going to be pitch black and it's going to be unknown. When you walk in there, it's going to be pitch black and unknown. But eventually your eyes are going to blink, 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 blink. And eventually you'll be able to make out the rocks. And then you're going to hear the sounds of the cold running water. And you're going to look up and your vision is going to be clear. And you're going to see bats hanging up at the top. And you're going to be nervous and you're going to be scared because you're not sure what's in there. But you have just enough light just through your eyes to see that you can take a few more steps. That you can take a few more steps and it's safe. It's cool in there. It's really cool in there. And you hear the water running and it's quiet. But you can see now and you take a few more steps. And all of a sudden you can make out. All of a sudden you can make out just in the distance walking towards you is a crazy bald-headed lady named Sharon. And you can make her out. You're like, I know her. I know her. And she reaches her hand out and she takes your hand and gently you two choose to hold hands. And the two of you walk through this cave together and she guides you through the cave called grief. She tells you where the mine falls are. And every time you fall, she picks you up because she's been on this journey before you and she knows what it looks like and she knows what it feels like. Avoiding feels safe, but healing feels free. The more you face what hurts, the lighter your heart becomes. You stop just surviving and you start living again. What would change if you believed you were strong enough to face it? What happens if you took one step in the cave? What truth would you tell yourself? What truth would you be able to tell yourself? Avoidance is a part of the grieving process. It is not failure. It is fear. And if you are there, I want you to acknowledge that you're there and I want you to be okay with it. But fear doesn't get to run your life. It doesn't get to run your grief life. And it sure as hell doesn't get to run your life forever. The truth is, your heart can handle more than your mind believes it can. It's stronger than you know. Breaking down and crying isn't going to stop you from getting up tomorrow and doing it. Avoidance whispers that facing pain will break you, but facing it is what rebuilds you. It's what rebuilds you. It's the difference between staying in the wound and walking towards it. It's the difference between staying in the wound and choosing to live this way and walking towards it, walking into the cave. The first step is awareness, is acknowledgement, is acknowledge that you are grieving, becoming aware of this. The next is the courage. And I do the courage every Thursday. The courage to grieve is done every Thursday in the Facebook group. We break down courage, the courage it takes to walk in that cave. We break it down. And the rest is what you practice. You practice this. You allow the tears to come. One tear at a time, one event at a time. One honest moment at a time. All right, friends. Are you ready to stop avoiding and start healing? Here's my hand. I'm offering it to you. Come on. Let's do this. Thank you so much. My name is Sharon Brubaker. I'm the owner of the Grief School. The Grief School is the place where healing begins. Some important dates to remember. Every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, we do Grief Study Hall. On November 8th, we're creating the plan for surviving the holidays. Go to the post above, click the link that says click here for hope and sign up. I'd be honored to sit with you. I'd be honored to sit with you and help you create your holiday grieving plan. All right, my friends, it's been a joy. Hope you didn't hear the twins out there. They were banging on the door. They want their darling, so I'm going to go see what they need. I love you, each and every one of you. You coming? I'm here. Come on. Let's do this. Let's do this grief shit. Bye.